Seed oils, or you might know them as vegetable oils. They get called vegetable oils just because vegetable sounds healthy. They're not actually anything to do with vegetables, so they are seed oils. Now, this word gets thrown around so much. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they neutral? Let's break it down. So let's call them for what they are. Seed oils. What are seed oils? What are examples? Sunflower oil, canola oil or rapeseed oil, safflower, corn oil, soybean oil. Those are the main popular ones that need to be looked out for. And if you look at ingredients, they're in everything. Look at the back of stuff. You'll be so surprised. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then your restaurants cooking it because it's so cheap. Your food at McDonald's is deep fried in it. No matter where you go, everywhere seems to use it. There are places that aren't, but it's just so popular because it's so cheap and it's highly addictive, which we'll get onto. The main takeaway from this and what really resonates with me is like the birth of this seed oil. Like, where did it even come from? So like in the World War II, they used to use it as engine and machine lubricants. I'm like, okay, why are we putting this in our body? So then when the war ended, they had all this massive supply and think, oh, what should we do with it? Okay, we'll dump it in the human's food supply, put it in our bodies, and then Crisco was born, a vegetable shortening in the early 1900s. Hauntingly, massively changing the trajectory of human consumption and human health, because these were seen as heart healthy, all just to make money and take money out of your pocket and put it in the manufacturer's pocket. And it's like widespread, massive detriment to everyone's health, causing heart disease, cancer, strokes, diabetes, dementia, full body damage, inflammation, you name it. Convincing us that it was heart healthy just to make a buck off us. Scary stuff. Research was actually done on these damaging seed oils, showing how dangerous they were. But guess what? It was all covered up. It was all put away because the researchers didn't get the answer they wanted. So it took decades for very, very important research to be published. Eventually it did, but it was like after the researchers had passed away, like family members had found it buried in like basements and things, and eventually it's been published. So if you look into it, there's some very, very good studies that show saturated fat is actually good, and these polyunsaturated fats, which we'll speak of, are actually very, very bad. Bad is the wrong term. It's worse than that. But yeah, they covered it up because they wanted to sell it. So it's same with the sugar industry. Everyone is trying to make money off your health. All right, me saying this, we've got to look into the science a little bit. Why are they bad? So these seed oils contain an omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acid called linoleic acid. Okay, so why is that bad? It's because of the molecular chemical structure of these acids. So because of the certain bonds, so these fats have like double bonds or no bonds and things like that. We don't have to go into too much of detail. Basically, they're very, very easily oxidized and highly unstable. Like if you left a dead fish outside and you smelt it in the morning, do you know that rancid? These are rancid oils, and that's why they have to be bleached and deodorized, because they smell awful and they look awful. They have to be bleached and deodorized just to put them on the shelves for human consumption. So that should scare you enough. Common sense. We would never in nature be able to create these oils because of how they're made. So if you think it can take sort of like hundreds and thousands of little, say, like sunflower seeds to make one like teaspoon drop of sunflower oil. That's just, it would never happen in nature. And even if you manage to gather all those, the process which you go through, we won't go through it all, but there's just a massive list of steps that these heated at stupidly high heats, which damage the oils even more, damage this linoleic acid that make it more and more rancid, and to be extracted by damaging chemicals like hexane, and then, as we said, bleached and deodorized and heated again. And it's just all this sludge, like all to make your nice bottle of heart-healthy vegetable oils, which are seed oils, which are very damaging and have caused a lot of the obesity and heart disease and every metabolic modern day condition, disease that we know. Even after the production of these seed oils, even when the bottles are just sat on shelves in supermarkets, or they're in warehouses, or they're sat in your cupboard, even just sat there, heat, light and air just continually makes it more and more rancid. But luckily it's been bleached and deodorized. You won't notice. You pour it on your food, you give it to your children, and I think it's about 20% of our human consumption of our food supply now, which is scarily disgusting. It doesn't just stop there, because they're hard to stop. So look at foods. Do you know, like, look at a donut, like it's fried in this horrible seed oil, like chips fried in oil. It's in pizza. It's even put in breads. I've even seen it in cereals. It's used for cooking everything because it's cheap, abundant, rancid. Do you know? But the toxic byproducts, like it breaks down into like aldehydes. So people working in restaurants are breathing this in, and that's why you get a rise of tobacco-free lung cancer. People are getting cancer that don't even smoke because they're breathing these toxic products in. But they also break down into products like HNE, and AGE, A2, these fancy names, which they bind to CB1 receptors in your brain, triggering munchies. Like smoking weed, cannabis, these cannabinoids, these bind to these receptors, triggering to overeat. So it's one thing that we're consuming them and then we're like, okay, we'll try and stop. They're actually highly, highly addictive. That's why one bite of like a big family size box of Doritos, do you know, one crisp isn't enough. Once you pop, you can't stop. Inflaming us from the inside out. They're giving us the munchies. They're in everything. What the hell do? We educate ourselves. We be aware of what's on these packages and in these ingredients. We get used to reading ingredients lists. We eat natural single ingredient whole food that they're not going to be it. Use these natural God-given saturated fats which are solid at room temperature. So you've got your fat that's naturally on like a ribeye, the fat on a steak, like that can cook on its own. Or obviously you get tallow or beef dripping on its own. Coconut oil, lard, butter, these are all solid at room temperature. So that's how you can know if it's a good or a bad fat. Whereas these rancid omega-6 polyunsaturated linoleic acid seed oil fats, they're liquid at room temperature. So that is how you can know, distinguish between a good and a bad fat. If you need it for cooking or adding fats to your food, if you're eating leaner cuts but you're on a higher fat diet and you want to add it in, don't just take my word for it. Do your research. Look into these. There's some really, really powerful studies that are just these observational epidemiological studies which are absolutely worthless. There's these proper randomized controlled trials which literally compare saturated fat to unsaturated fat. So it might be butter compared to canola or rapeseed oil, and they literally look at the mortality of people over like a span of maybe like 40 years. It's just absolutely clear cut which is the winner. And then there's also studies in mice or rats where they'll feed one group of them like beef dripping, saturated fat, tallow, and the other group get rancid canola or seed oils, and they expose them to like little sunbeds, you know, like UV light. And the ones that eat tallow just don't get any skin cancer, and the ones that are eating these seed oils are getting skin cancer. So people think the sun is killing us, but there's more to it than that. Obviously, we evolved this thing in the sky that we evolved for millions and millions of years that was here long before us, is not trying to kill us. So as I said before, everything you ingest becomes part of you. So these rancid seed oils get incorporated into your cell membranes. We're made of cells, so your skin are made of cells. So it gets incorporated into your skin cells, and then that is exposed to the sun, and that is like almost like having cooking oil on you, and then it's imagine it just burning. So it creates inflammation, damage, and then you get damage to these p53 genes that are supposed to like stop cancer cells dividing, and it damages your mitochondria, and it stops your body killing off. So it's called apoptosis, like killing damaged old cells. All this fancy science. So basically, you're cooking yourself from the sun. That is why people on the like long-term ketogenic carnivore type diets do report that they can stay in the sun longer without getting burnt. It's literally because your cell membranes are now healthy, that they're not just getting fried and inflamed, and you've just got, it's everywhere. So imagine if that's what's happening to your skin, what is happening in every other cell in your body where these linoleic acid rancid seed oils are getting incorporated. Do you know, it's part of your cholesterol, and that's why they cause heart disease. Do you know, cholesterol isn't the problem. Cholesterol is just there at the scene of the crime, but it's damaged cholesterol that's bad. So if your cholesterol's really high, which is actually shown to make you live longer, if it's not to do with that number, it's if the cholesterol is damaged or not. If you've got healthy cholesterol, it's not a problem at all. So there's so many chronic conditions, like look at dementia, but we won't go into it all today. Look at it yourself, do your own research, make an informed decision, and just use common sense. We would never gather that many sunflower seeds to be able, and also even if we did, we wouldn't be able to heat them, we wouldn't be able to get some hexane to extract them out, and it used to be engine lubricant. So for me, that's enough for me to be like, no, I don't really want to put this in my body because it's not meant for human consumption. They're just trying to take money off you, sacrifice our health in the process and our family's health. Make better decisions, do your own research, be your own experiment. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Hope this helps, guys. Cheers.